Fred Flights there. I do want to turn now to one of the other big questions surrounding Donald Trump's re-election in terms of its global impact, what it means for climate action. Let us just have a listen to Donald Trump talking about his love of oil.
Leave the oil to me. We have more liquid gold, oil and gas. We have more liquid gold than any country in the world, more than Saudi Arabia. We have more than Russia.
George, how much of a setback is President Trump's election to the cause of climate change, tackling climate change?
He'll definitely leave the Paris Agreement, which is the framework under which all the negotiations, well, all the aims of trying to curb climate breakdown take place. He'll probably leave the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change as well, which is the overarching treaty.
And if he leaves Paris, George, this time, it would be more damaging than the last time he did it.
Yeah, much more. Well, especially if he leaves the Framework Convention, because that's much, much harder to reverse. I mean, you know, and we know he's going to unleash the fossil fuel industry. He said so himself. And you know, we're already at an incredibly dangerous point. We don't know where the tipping points are. You know, we know that Earth systems are complex systems. All complex systems have tipping points. If you push them too far, they go past that point, and that is a point of no return. Whatever that system might be. It might be the collapse of the Atlantic circulation system, it might be the collapse of the ice sheets, the collapse of the Amazon basin, you know, and these things are irreversible. And so, you know, even if this is just 4 years, you know, and Trump or Trumpism doesn't continue beyond that point, and that's a very big if, that damage might be forever, and we might be pushed past these absolutely crucial tipping points. I mean, the truth is, you know, Trump did not invent our climate disaster. You know, we were losing slowly already. We were losing slowly under Biden. We are losing slowly under Keir Starmer. Now we are losing fast.
David, we're losing fast.
Let's just actually look at some facts. Where are carbon emissions coming from in the world? So America has the highest per capita carbon emissions of any country, but it is way, way, way behind China on absolute emissions. China has something like 3 times more emissions and growing. India is catching up with America. India is in 3rd place in absolute emissions. And the other key fact is that America's emissions are falling quite fast. I think they've fallen by 11% since 2010. That's mainly because they've shifted from coal to gas. America is an incredibly innovative country. They're investing hugely in green technology. They've recently had huge subsidies in green technology, and that will undoubtedly continue. These are the things that matter, not whether, I mean, Trump may well pull America out of the Accords. The Accords will still go on without America. What matters is American emissions are falling and Chinese emissions are rising, and we need to take the green tech to be some more self-sufficient in green technology than we are at the moment. China completely dominates these supply chains.
Well, I'm not going to take any lessons in climate from someone from Policy Exchange, which is funded by the oil industry. The important thing,
by the oil industry.
I can demonstrate that it is, but if you want to show who all your funders are, we would be delighted to see them, David, because we only discover who your funders are by accident.
I'd be very happy to
But we know that some of them are oil companies. But without a global framework, without an agreement, what we have is a perfect circle of finger-pointing. Everyone says, well, you've got to take action. It's your fault. It's the Chinese. No, it's you, the Americans. You've got much bigger historical emissions. Everyone can blame everyone else. You have to have a global agreement in place. Trump is ripping that agreement up. How can we move forward without one?
Natasha, how much of a threat is Trump to global climate action?
Again, I think the interesting thing, I think, during this election race, the environment wasn't something that was discussed much during the election. So again, I'm not sure really what President Trump's current plans are for America's emissions and for their green transition. All I can really talk about is, I think what I agree with George is that every nation is responsible for its own footprint and for its own journey. And I think when we look at what we've done with GB Energy and the things in the UK, it's not just about cutting emissions. It's actually a practical thing to develop good jobs in this country and to reindustrialise part of this country that's been completely neglected for over a decade. So moving ourselves off of global energy markets and standing on our own 2 feet and owning our own energy, clean energy, is not just about climate change. It's a practical solution to a lot of the industrial issues that we have in this country as well.
Rachel, quick final word on this.
Oh, I don't think GB Energy is any type of practical solution. It isn't anything. It's just a name and a slogan. I don't think it delivers anything at all.
And you delivered what over 14 years?
We did get emissions down, and we did.
Energy bills going all over the place.
And we did. Well, you've just put energy bills up on pensioners.
And most deindustrialisation took place under New Labour.
Yeah,
I mean, this has been
it
happening
did. Yes,
whichever party is in power.
No. I think
and actually, the Trump Musk
cost of doing
economics
nothing.
is about reindustrialising. And the odd thing about Trump Musk economics is that it's on the one hand kind of libertarian and sort of free market, but on the other hand very, very industrial policy.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. But the point is that the future of this is green technology. So to reindustrialise a place isn't just going to be in old technologies. And if you're talking about Elon Musk and you're talking about the future, this is where the future is. We are now part of that. So to sit there and say, oh well, let's do nothing.
If I can just finish,
Rachel,
I was
very briefly because we do have to move on.
GB Energy is just this big state thing. What you need is to unleash private enterprise.
That's
the
worked
market
really well.
will solve this.
It's worked really well.
Right. Well, we could carry on talking about this all afternoon, but I do want to turn to one of the pressing challenges back here in the UK, the issue of care, childcare, caring for the elderly.